so many underage kids are still on Facebook.
It used to be where bullying was happening at school, on school grounds, you know, during recess time and that sort of thing. But the latest trend is that cyberbullying is happening off campus. It's happening online, on social networks.
Especially the most dangerous area is for tweens.
And what's even more shocking, a third of the parents have no idea what these kids are doing on Facebook.
It is becoming really, really prevalent because it's so easy. You don't have a face to look into when you're bullying. You just have a computer screen.
There are 13 million people on Facebook that don't use or haven't set any form of privacy settings.
You've got a kid who's 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. You got to sit down and talk to him or her.
You know, it's no secret that teens are on Facebook, and while parents can try to monitor their children's online activity, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Especially with mobile devices, keeping track of what your child says online can be nearly impossible sometimes. According to Consumer Reports, nearly 6 million underage kids have Facebook accounts, and all those kids are throwing comments and photos out into cyberspace, which could come back to haunt them. These days, it's not unusual for employers and colleges. Did you hear me? Parents, kids, colleges to check out applicants' Facebook pages. Now, I want you to take a look at what our producers found just looking at some high school students' public pages. We weren't their friends. These are things that are out there for anyone to look at, okay? So what do you do if your kid is posting something like this? Take a look at this one. I gotta have weed to go get weed. If you don't like it, kiss my bleep till your lips bleed. You think he's getting into Harvard with that one? How about this one? Remember when we used to geek out to Happy Gilmore? And apparently geek out means getting high. Is that gonna help you get that job? This last one, unbelievable. Wow, that sex was amazing. I've never experienced anything like it before. These are kids. You know what? Anyone could have accessed that because we weren't friends with these kids when we went on their Facebook pages. Just a bunch of TV producers. But we could be people deciding whether or not your child gets into private school, whether or not they get into college, or whether or not they get the job. And it's not just the comments that are inappropriate. You ready? Look at some of these pictures that we found. This first one, I don't even know what's going on here. I don't want to know what's going on here. But is that the guy I'm going to hire for the job? Is that the kid I want going to my college? Take a look at the next one now. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's what you want your kid doing in cyberspace, right? Flipping off the entire world. Now, I know kids will be kids and they do this stuff. But my point tonight is that this stuff, once it gets posted, it's there forever. And they're putting it up there, and anyone and everyone can access it. Joining me tonight, internet safety expert Lori Getz, also Brett Singer, columnist for daddytips.com. Welcome to you both. Brett, let me start with you. I mean, let's take a look at this. All right. I guess step one to preventing your child from doing something stupid like that, posting things like that, is to know what they're posting and where they're doing it and what sites they're accessing, right?
Well, that's the first thing. It's a parent's responsibility. Parents are responsible for their children. That if you don't, it's no longer an option to, oh, I don't need to know about Facebook. I don't need to know about the internet. You have to. It's a fact of life. Kids are on it, and you need to know what they're doing. And ultimately, you're the parent. And at a certain point, it's okay to say no. If they want the responsibility of having one of these accounts, if they want their own email account, keep the password. They don't necessarily have to have control of it. That's the easiest way to keep track of what they're doing, is to not let them have control.
Lori, the other part of this is, and you know, kids get together with their friends and everyone's got a camera, everyone's got a video, and you know, you want to be cool and you're going back and forth communicating the way kids do, the way kids have communicated for years, but now it's on the computer. It's there forever. And even if you're the subject of a photo, right? Someone can tag your name on it and that thing's going to follow you around.
Absolutely. And you don't have true control over your tagged images. Facebook will say that you can actually control it and that you can stop it from showing up on your profile. You can accept it or reject it, but that doesn't stop it from showing up on somebody else's profile. So you don't have a lot of control. But what Brett was saying about parents being responsible, I completely agree. But what we want to do is we really want to stop blurring this line between the digital world and the physical world. And when we have organic conversations about privacy or responsibility or the things that we accept or don't accept, we have to talk about it in the physical world and the cyber world in order to get our kids to really listen.
Yeah, Brett, no, I completely agree. I mean, Vinnie, you said it. I mean, it's dumb. Dumb is dumb. It doesn't matter if it's online or offline. The internet isn't the problem. It just, when you put that picture up there, it's like you said, it's going to stay, and you just have to explain that to your kids.
And how do you, Lori, how would you try to get through to a teenager, right? And, you know, different levels of maturity, different ages, but to get them to understand this concept that once it's there, it's always there. There's always someone that, you know what I mean? And to prevent them from putting that thing up there that, you know, you wouldn't want anyone else to see.
Where I actually start is not by saying, don't put it out there because it'll be there forever. It goes in through one ear and out the other, especially with teenagers. They draw their line in a very different place than we do when it comes to privacy. And the truth is that things that we consider private as parents or as adults, they don't consider private. And so what I actually do is I kind of turn it around on them and I get them to start talking about where they draw their digital line. What is private to them? Is it their relationship? Is it things that are going on in their family? Is it financial information? What is it that they care about? And then we go backwards from there. And I talk about how maybe you post something and it's just to a friend, you put it on the wall, it's a video, but if someone else comments on it, it's then going to leak further and further and further. And once they kind of understand that, wow, that information was something I do hold sacred, then we can start talking about, okay, maybe we should keep that offline.
Yeah, and Brett, you know, there's the privacy, there's the safety, and then there's the practical aspect of it. You know, you want to go to this college, and it's very competitive, and something that you do online or put online can make the difference.
I mean, I think you're absolutely. I mean, but it's not limited to what we're talking about. I mean, look at politics. Every word that a candidate has ever written, anything they've ever said, comes back and it's poured over, and they pick it apart and they try to use it against them. And I think I wouldn't scare kids. I think it's just a matter of explaining to them that you don't need to share that. You don't have to share everything. I think that's interesting. That's one place to start.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch the presidential race 20 years from now when all the kids that are doing stuff are running for office. Thanks, guys.
That's right.